you doing?
Diapers?
No. That's what we came for.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back to Hodgepodge. So today, me and the wife went to the bins. It's basically a large Goodwill outlet where all of the merchandise are in these bins. These bins are like 6 feet wide, 4 feet across, and about maybe a foot deep, maybe a foot and a half deep. Some of them are a lot bigger. But anyway, we went to the bins and we spent 26 bucks, and this is our bin pile right here. So we're just going to kind of go through it and give you an idea. As always, anytime you find ink cartridges brand new, get them, especially if they're at least expired for the past 5 years. So I always go 2013 and newer. This one's November 2014. That's at least 15 bucks. So that's 15 bucks. A couple of rulers, just because they're good to have around. Tissue paper to wrap the product. AAA batteries. Safety gates. Those are the latches for the safety gates or for your counters. Tissue paper. We got the old Yahtzee scorecards. These are actually really sellable, but we have the old Yahtzee game board and we don't have the cards. Just happened to look out and get the cards, so that was cool for us. Also, children's books. We try to get those if they're golden books, and you can see a good mix. VHS. You want to look for VeggieTales and Barney. I know that sounds crazy, but VeggieTales in groups of 2 to 8 sell really well, and Barney sells really well. Any complete seasons, of course, Friends. This I got from my wife because she's a Friends maniac. Janet Ivanovich, another VeggieTales, another children's book. This bag here is actually full of smaller and larger rubber stamps. And if you look at some of these, they actually still have the price tags on them. This one here, $14. And that's a big naval scene. Granted, I don't expect to get 14 bucks for that, but I do believe that I'll probably make about 50 bucks just on the bag of stamps with the stamp merchandise. And there's some ink in there as well. Ties, again, you've seen ties in here before. 100% silk, always sells. Doesn't really matter as long as it has good character content, paisleys, the beach scenes, and then repetitive patterns are always a plus. And there's a repetitive pattern for an example, something that just repeats over and over. Here we found some good clothing at the bins. Mostly we go for the denim because we know the denim, it wears good and it doesn't wear out. We look for name brands, Hollister, Cato. Tissue paper to wrap your product that you sell. Anything food saver, I have no problem selling these food saver bags. And if you happen to have a food saver, then you're saving money too. We probably paid $0.25 for those. I'm an Alabama fan, but I'll make money on Georgia, so there you go. The game's coming up, and we know it'll sell. Even a simple Georgia t-shirt, might even give it to a friend. More denim, express pants. And this was a nice little piece to find. This is a Callaway golf gear bag, all leather. You can see at some point in time, some Goodwill try to sell it for $5.95. It weighs about 1.5 pounds, so we gave them probably $1.50. We'll sell that bag for about $30 to $40 shipped, so that'll be a good profit there. Well, we went to the bins, and then after the bins, we were kind of disappointed. So we picked up some other things, kind of on the way back through, hit some more shops. I actually picked up the Indo board last night. Which brings up the point, if you do thrift and you're like, well, I already hit that place this morning, I bet there's nothing that afternoon. Well, I had hit the same place that I bought this at. I got this at nighttime about 6 o'clock, and I'd already been there earlier in the afternoon, and just so happened, boom, I got this. I paid about 1/10 of what it's worth, and I've already turned down a $90 offer. It was going to the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. I've got to make my money too. I can't lose it all on shipping, but we'll make good money on that. It'll probably sell for 100 bucks, and that'll be a good profit. So we hit up a few of the other stores on the way. Of course, looking for the common things that we like to look for. I got a few things just kind of out of the blue just to give you guys a different idea. Cookware sells really well. These are the cranberry visionware lids made by Pyrex. If you know anything about Pyrex or Visionware or Corel, take that knowledge and make money with it. I paid 50 cents for these. The small one I'll sell for probably $11 shipped, so I'll make about $5 or $6. And this one will bring 12 to 13 shipped, and I might make 7 on that one. But when you're paying 50 cents, you can play with some things that aren't the norm. They're also really, really dutiful, and they will not break as easy as other things. Clothing again. Here's a brand new with tags, New York & Company jacket. Retails for $50. We'll probably put that up for $25. Vintage Levi's denim jacket. I think we paid $2 for this. We'll probably sell that for, I don't know, $25, $30. Hollister. We seem to have this following with these light Hollister jeans. We've already
jeggings.
Jeggings, she says. We've already sold one pair. We've got another pair exactly like these that has watchers. We'll list these, and they'll get watchers, and it'll probably sell too. Of course, outside the norm, big boy pants do sell well. And this is Knockout Jeans. They're a good brand, and you can just tell by looking at the logos and the stitching. It's a good pair of pants. Now, granted, they do weigh about, 3 pounds. So, it's going to cost you a little more to ship them. You can still shove them in one of those big envelopes, though. Which brings up mailing. Don't be scared to use poly mailer envelopes. You can save some money using those. Those jeans, I think, sell for around $30. We paid probably $3 for those, if that. And then here, we're starting to dabble in the men's fancy pants. These are men's silver jeans. We paid $4 for this pair at a bigger thrift store. One of those that I usually avoid, because they go a little high on stuff, and then my wife goes over there and pulls, a little gold nugget. These sell for like $35. So we'll sell those. We'll do well on those. And then we got a Banana Republic dress. Anything Banana Republic sells really well, and this is a nicer piece. My wife did point out it's got the little hangs here, which means it had a nice little belt. Just so happens she knows how to crochet. She's going to crochet a nice little black belt there, and then just, put that in the description. Hey, made a crochet belt. Lost the original. Hats. I'm always eyeballing hats. And today I came across this one. It says 1993 Jurassic Park team. And this is actually McDonald's. Usually when you find these hats, they're going to be, really covered in grease and stained up. This one's in really good shape. Did a quick sold listing. They've sold from anywhere for 20 to 35 shipped. I can ship this for about $3 because it weighs nothing. I paid 75 cents. So I'm going to probably list it for 22 to 24 shipped. It'll sell really fast. When you pay, 75 cents, that's a quick sell. Vintage Las Vegas embroidered hat in really good condition. Usually on these old hats, the foam is starting to deteriorate, and I won't mess with it. But I did look recently, and I will give you a little tidbit. If it's a old trucker hat, let's say Freightliner, for example, and it's got a mesh back and the foam's deteriorating, don't let it scare you off. They're selling upwards of 150 to 180, I think. This Las Vegas, being old school embroidered, will sell for 10 to 15. Of course, ties. We actually scored really big today. This would be our biggest score on ties. My wife picked this up for a quarter today, and this is a President of the United States Donald Trump tie. With the nice Donald Trump embezzlement down there on the bottom. It's in really good shape. It does have a few little nicks here and there, signs of use. But even used, folks, this tie goes for $40 to $60. So that's a really good profit margin. When you're spending a quarter and you can sell something for $40 to $60, this was in a Goodwill that is actually really busy. There's no reason this tie should have been laying up there. It was actually in the bottom of a pile.
Can I do it?
Go ahead.
Squeeze!
There you go, folks. That's called a squeeze. We'll talk about that later. So, Donald J. Trump tie. We picked up a few Joseph A. Banks ties. Being in the Palmetto State, it's nice to find a Palmetto State tie, which is really cool. Fishing lure tie. Again, character content is very important. As long as you get good character content and it's a quality tie, and that's a vintage Tommy Hilfiger tie, that'll sell. Of course, here's a platypus. Animal repetitiveness, we've noticed, is really well. Oddball animals, birds, hedgehogs, platypus, panda bears, things like that. People like those. Also picked up a vintage Wilson. This has a date on it there. It says 1994. Somebody wrote it on there probably when they were playing with it. Overall, you just want to make sure laces are good. There's no dry areas. This one was oiled and stored pretty well and wasn't used that much. I paid $3.95. I expect to sell that from anywhere from $28 to $35 plus shipping. That's still a good glove, and it'll bring in a new crowd. So that's everything except for what we would call a super score. Today we had a super score. This was actually at a local thrift store here in town. At the end of the day, when you think everybody has already picked over everything and you're just like, well, let me check it out. Vintage bingo. And if you notice, they call these fingertip bingo cards, the little red sliders. You're probably going to find these. Now that I've showed you this, you're going to go into your old thrift store and there they're going to sit. And you're going to laugh all the way to the bank, folks. These cards, right now, sold listings, $30 shipped. I've got 175 cards total that I'm going to sell. I've got 192 total cards. I paid $5 for all the cards, for the bingo rolling machine, for the wooden balls, and for the MasterCards. $5 for the whole lot. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sell 175 of my 192. I'm going to keep 17 cards. I'm going to keep the bingo rolling machine, the bingo balls, and the MasterCard. And then when my family wants to get together, we're going to have an awesome time playing fingertip bingo. And I made $140 on those cards when they sell. That's what I'm going to make after fees and after everything. That's what we call a really, really good score, because you found something that you love. I've always wanted one of these vintage bingo machines. I think they're cool. You can roll them. You can listen to the balls. So you get excited because you found something. And then when you get home, you start to get on eBay looking at sold listings. Like I always tell you guys, sold listings. I'm going to focus on that later in another video, and I'll teach you how to do sold listings. If you don't already know, you can always send me a message. But when I searched the solds, it brought them up. 25 cards have sold repetitively, used condition, $30 shipped. So that's going to net me about $20 per set of 25 cards. That's going to be really awesome. So we're excited. We did really well today. Total spent on everything today was $65. And if you just wanted to be, I guess, easy about it, this tie, and this tie, that would be what we're going to sell to get our money back. And then all this and all this is all profit. And that's going to put us in a good spot. So we'll touch base later. We'll log today the merchandise we picked up, and we will keep a log. As it sells, we'll check it off, and then I'll tell you, hey, you remember that day I picked up the bingo lot? This is what we made on everything that we sold. And we'll come back and we'll laugh together. And if everybody wants to get together at my house, I can't have any more than 17 people here because I only have 17 cards, but you can come play bingo. Thanks again for coming, checking us out. Find me on eBay if you haven't already, Hodgepodge 2018. You can look at the items I have listed. You can get an idea of what you want to do. Some people can't pick a niche. Maybe you can look at my stuff and say, well, if he's selling this, maybe I can do that. I will tell you right now, some things on my store don't sell, and I'll relist them just because it keeps people coming in. Different items will attract different people, and I try to get a hodgepodge of things, and it brings a hodgepodge of people. So I invite you to come back to the next video. That's all for today. Thanks for coming.